we'll do a little video before we come to you.
Okay, awesome.
All right. And I'll count you down every step of the way.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, we're going live with the, you got it. Going live with the opening graphic in 5, 4, 3, 2.
But you are, Blanche. You are
stuck in this house.
Welcome, your host, Jenny McNulty.
Hello, 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 everyone. This is the InHouse Comedy Chat. More than a talk show, we are energizing your mind, body, and spirit. I'm your host, comedian Jenny McNulty. We're coming to you slightly delayed today with a technical difficulty, but it is going to be worth your wait. My guest today is Dalila Ali Rajah, an amazing actor, activist. She's got all kind of wonderful performances and things to tell you about, and she is part of the big Cicely Tyson tribute show today. As you know, we're honoring pioneers during Black History Month, and Cicely Tyson was certainly one of them. Dalila toured with the fabulous Ms. Tyson on Trip to the Bountiful, so we're going to hear all about that, and we'll hear what Dalila's got going on. But first, my thoughts, and don't forget to stick around. We are going to still take our walk on the beach. Even though we're late, we're still taking a walk, and you're going to join me. So, here are my thoughts today. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And it is a happy day. They kicked Chubby Ann Coulter out of her positions in Congress and all of her committees. It looks like the COVID package, a relief package, is going through, and it's Super Bowl weekend. Woo! Great things to be happy for. And in case you missed Wednesdays, by Chubby Ann Coulter, that is how I refer to Marjorie Taylor Greene, mainly because I think it would piss off both women. But really, seriously, they were putting her on the Education Committee. This woman chased down and taunted a teenager. I don't care about something horrific, but I don't care what it is. No one that taunts teenagers should be on the Education Committee. You might as well make a Kardashian a librarian, for God's sakes. And speaking of the teenager she chased, David Hogg, by the way, he and a software engineer are teaming together to form a pillow company to compete with the MyPillow guy. Gotta love this new youngster generation, don't you? And finally, I have never been more proud to be a card-carrying SAG-AFTRA member. A little while ago, because of the insurrection and his part in the insurrection, and the fact that SAG also represents journalists and news people, they asked for the resignation of Donald J. Trump from SAG-AFTRA. And he wrote this pithy little thing where he said, "Who cares? Basically, I don't want to be in your group." And then he went on talking about all his wonderful movies. And at the end, he finally said, "You have done nothing for me." And this is what made me so proud. SAG-AFTRA's response, thank you. You gotta love it, don't you? Oh my goodness. My fellow SAG member today, Dalila Ali Rajah, is absolutely amazing. You have seen her all over television. She's been in commercials. Sheila and I are always watching TV going, hey, there's Dalila. It's fun to always see her pop up. She has, you might know her from way back when in Cherry Bomb. She is also a writer, a producer, a director, and part of, and we're going to hear all about it on Instagram, I want to make sure that I get this right, the queer, I wrote it up, I can't
Black
read it.
Queer Joy.
Queer Joy, Black Queer Joy. Damn. I was supposed to do that right. Oh well, maybe we can fix this in post. Who knows? So, without further ado, here's just a little sample of my very talented friend, Dalila Ali Rajah. Check it out.
I should have picked him up. You know, your kid joins the military and you just hold your breath until they come home for a visit. And you can finally exhale. Or at least you think you can.
Wow. Raj, you go again.
I hate him. Baby number 2, we're still in a 1-bedroom. What you want?
Russia.
You know I can't do this anymore.
Her name is Holly X, and the year is 1976. Kung Fu lesbian. the unkillable sister who don't need a mister. Kung Fu Lesbian.
Gentlemen, welcome Dalila Ali Rajah. How you doing today, Dalila?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's been rough since Miss Tyson passed, to be honest with you. It really, really hit me very hard. But other than that, I've been doing pretty blessed. Yeah.
That's you know what, when I heard about it, I too was you know, I mean, everybody, I think she's been a part of everybody's life. I remember seeing Sounder when I was 10, you know, and she's just so real and so beautiful in everything that she did. You know, what was she like to work with? And you worked with her in Trip to Bountiful, and you toured with her.
Yes. Yeah, and I toured with her, and I was also blessed. The way that Trip to Bountiful's cast was set up is that they would have, everybody was in the ensemble for every single show period, but then for the understudies sometimes would, if somebody wasn't available, would go up. So I was understudying Jessie May, which was Vanessa Williams' character. So I actually got to do the show with her twice, which was really awesome, like as one of the leads, which was really awesome. She's incredible to work with. It's literally a master class every single day, like master class. And yeah, she can be fun and funny. She also was very anchored and strong. She really didn't take any crap for anything. Like, she had a very high level of her an awareness of her self-worth while also being gracious, which was really lovely. So she made sure that she kept herself safe, and she was, you know, aware of her time, but then also like laid it all out on the stage every single night. She literally did not miss a single show. She's in her 90s. She never missed a single show, the whole run of the show. She's just incredible. I was really grateful, like doing the performances with her. When you're an understudy, you're basically trying to make sure you at least hit the notes of the original performance so it doesn't throw the other actor off. But I was able to add in some of my own things, and it was really interesting to see how different her Carrie Watts was with me than it was with Vanessa. Like, she was much more, like, she was spicier. Like, her Carrie Watts had a little bit more fire in the shows with me than they did with Vanessa. She had a little bit more gentleness in it, but she's one of those people that whatever she came into the theater with, she would use it in her work. And it's seeing somebody do that, and you could watch them doing it. They always tell us to do that, but it's very different when you actually see, maybe she came in and she was a little bit more tired on one day, or maybe she was a little bit more peppy on another day, and seeing how it transforms how she embodied the character, but that it was always believable. It was always in line still with like whatever that authentic, true like center of the character was. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, she was just amazing, and she loved Phoenix. Like, it was so funny. Like, she met Phoenix on opening night, and after that, just always asked me about Phoenix and asked, you know, how he was doing and that sort of thing. So like, she loved kids. She loved the young people, and really like encouraged them around whether they wanted to perform or do their art or that sort of thing. She was really a voice about that too. Like, talked to Phoenix about like what he loved to do, and really like kind of encouraged him around that stuff, which was lovely too.
That is wonderful. Not surprising. That sounds like something. I mean, not that I know her at all, but what was it like for you? I mean, you've done a lot of things, Dalila. It's not like, you know, you're a rookie in the game here, but that still had to be a little bit intimidating that first time you met her. What was that like?
It was the whole thing was actually kind of like, it was a very new experience for me to be in a cast with that many well-known people at one time too. For her, you just try, like, it's like that, like walking on eggshells a little bit at first, trying to figure out like what's the best way to interact with people and to be respectful, but also kind, and also create, you know, the synergy of a cast. She made it possible for me, literally possible for me to be in the field I'm in. Not even just like, she broke down so many doors and created so many lanes for us, like, you know, even the natural hair movement, like what she said that she was willing to play and what she wasn't willing to play. Like, the way that she voiced things is really carved the path that I walk upon in all of my career. So there's something that I think is not even, I don't know if I can describe it, to be actually working with an opposite and having an artistic exchange with someone that made it possible for you to be where you are. And I have to say, like, one of the best compliments I think I've ever gotten, that maybe stay that way till the end of my days, but like when we came off stage, she didn't say anything to me between shows. We had 2 shows in a row, So like between shows, she didn't say anything. She just went to her dressing room and got ready, and then we did the show again. But when we got off stage after the first, after we finished the curtain call, she just grabbed both of my arms and she said, "Well, you just jumped right into the fire, didn't you?" And I was like, "That's the material."
Oh.
I was like, "That's like literally for that woman to say that to me about my performance and like to affirm it." And from what I hear, she was not always like that with all the understudies that she had. You know, like if people, well, because the show was very, it was almost like a musical in the way that we had to move, like the way they created that. There was a whole bunch of bits that Miss Tyson had. So like I had to make sure I put things in a certain place and then picked up things in a certain place so that she could do all the bits that she wanted to do. So you had to move like it was a dance that's choreographed through everything while you're saying your lines. And my character literally talked for almost the first 45 pages with almost no other dialogue in between her. She runs her mouth a lot. So it's like doing that while walking and talking and doing and doing and doing. And I think that that wasn't always an easy thing for everybody to do, because you're trying to, like, if you miss putting a pencil in a certain place, it would screw up her bit. So
right.
I literally sat like every single night, even in our hotel room when I was in Boston. I set up like a mini version of the stage in my hotel room, and I would run through the entire play from beginning to end, doing my lines and the other lines in my head so that I could get the choreography right.
And that's, I would imagine, something that stuck with you. You know what I mean? Something that, had you not been working with, not that you wouldn't have normally taken that professional extra step, but you know, when you up your game when you're playing, you know, so that is so cool. You know, it's weird because we watched the movie version of A Trip to Bountiful with Cicely in it, and I was assuming for some reason that you were playing Thelma and not Jessie May. So just because that, to me, your personality is more Thelma. So how weird was it for you to be bitchy to Cicely Tyson?
Oh, actually, it's so much fun. And this is what's crazy is I was actually originally called in for Thelma, but then they decided to in the audition at the callbacks. Literally, I did the Thelma callback, and then I went out, and they said, "Hold on." They're like, would you be willing to read for Jessie May? We'll give you a few minutes to look at the sides, because I hadn't looked at any of it. They handed me 8 pages of material that I had to bring back into the audition room. So like I sat with it, but I had a pitch meeting right after that for another TV show actually. So like I couldn't like take a lot of time with it. So I was like, I just gotta like go in there, do it, and then just like whatever. But she's fun to play. Like she's like, Jessie May is like haughty, and like I feel like she's the type of person that would like be watching like Real Housewives of Atlanta every day. Like that's like kind of like her thing, you know what I mean? Drinking her Coca-Cola. And the thing with Horton Foote is Horton Foote always wrote in a character that was, I think she's based on one of his aunts, but she was a Coke addict, because you know Coca-Cola used to actually have cocaine in it. So like there were like women and men, everybody who was like drinking the Coke, and because they were addicted to it, and if they were running on their day and they had run out of their Coca-Cola. So like you see it in like the film and the play, like you see how much more bitchy that Jessie May gets when she's run out of her Coke and she needs to go down to the drugstore to get her Coke. You know what I mean? Like she's like hyper, like she's high all the time. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
We have a clip of her talking. I think it's actually 3, Sheila. It's a clip of her talking about her career as a platform and how she chose her roles. So let us show that.
Witnessing certain things, after experiencing certain things in my career, I realized that I could not afford the luxury of just being an actress. There were certain issues that I wanted to address, and I chose my career as my platform.
Did working with someone who looks at their job that way, did that affect the way, because you're an activist as well, and I'm sure that you were before 2014.
Oh yeah.
How did it affect you?
You know what's interesting is that I didn't know that part about Miss Tyson other than what I'd seen her demonstrate. I hadn't heard her talk about it. I made a point to not watch Miss Tyson or Vanessa's masterclass until after the show, because I wanted to get to know them like personally versus what I learned from some interview that I'd watched. But once I finished the show, I watched both of them on the way back home from the final show on the plane. And I found that me and Miss Tyson had so many resonant things in common about the way we walk through the world and our journeys in life, which I thought was so interesting for me, because I didn't realize how much of it was mirrored until I actually listened to her talking about her journey and how she uses her intuition, and, you know, how some of the things happen with her, like where she, you know, had straight hair at one point and she cut it off, and the person like almost refused to cut off her hair because they were like, no, nobody wants that, because Black women always had their hair straight. Then she said, no, this is what I want, because she was playing a character who was an African character for a TV show. It wasn't Roots, it was something else, it was before Roots. And she showed up to set with it all cut off on the day that they were to shoot the thing. And the directors did, thank God, because sometimes people don't want you doing stuff like that. But in this case, the director was like, I wanted to ask you to do that, but I, you know, didn't have the courage. And she's like, this character would not have this straight hair. Yeah, she's very much so like sometimes like a, not completely like method, but it like Holly Foote tells this great story. It's Horton Foote's daughter. She's the one that Miss Tyson always talks about. Had invited her to dinner and then offered her this role. And Holly said that her father would not have wanted anybody to play that character besides Miss Tyson. But she tells this story about how Miss Tyson's most of the time is vegan. And she does like these shakes every day, and she has like these certain things that she does, like a whole routine about had a whole routine for her skincare, her food, all that, right? And there's this famous place in Houston for fried chicken that they were going to order for everybody when they were filming Bountiful. And they didn't order her any at first. They didn't put her in the order, and she's like, why was I not asked if I wanted some chicken? They're like, well, Miss Tyson, you're a vegan. She said, I may be a vegan, but Carrie Watts is not. And they're like, okay, we'll go get you your chicken. Carrie Watts wanted her fried chicken. Yeah, it's great. Listen to the stories of like over the years with Miss Tyson from Holly Foote and the other people who toured from the original tour and who were on the film is really interesting and lovely. Like, you know, it was her first time back on stage in I think 30 years when they started doing the show. Yeah. And she talks about it in her masterclass, I think, about how it was terrifying for her because she hadn't done it such a long time. She was afraid that somehow she might fail at it. But she didn't. She was brilliant. She was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you read her book yet?
No, I haven't. It sold out. I hadn't pre-ordered it and it sold out everywhere. So, but I will be reading it. Yes.
I'm sure you will. Well, if you're just joining us, I am chatting with Dalila Ali Rajah, an amazing actor, and worked with Cicely Tyson in Trip to Bountiful. Now we're going to turn the gears a little bit and talk about you, my friend. So what do you, and I'm so sorry for butchering your IG show. I just messed up the name of that.
No, it's okay. But it's more of a movement. So I started, it's Black Queer Joy on IG. Anybody who wants to see images or has images of actually Black Queer Joy that they want to forward me. I started this movement almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in April. And I kept it secret for like a year and a half. Like it was like my little thing that I did because I wanted to kind of shift culture around it and build a tolerance for joy, especially for people at the margins and Black queer people. I watched the film Rafiki, which is a beautiful film. Me and my trans son went to go see it. And I remember there was a part where there's like a joyful moment happening. And I had the thought, I was like, something bad's about to happen, right? And then my kid said out loud, oh, that means something bad is going to happen. And I had this thought, I was like, why are we trained like that in our mentality of the way we see the world? And especially like in stories where we're given so much trauma as Black people, queer people, that we wait for the other shoe to drop. And like, what does that do to our bodies and our minds and our spirit? And how can we create that in our lives if we don't have a tolerance for joy and an energy resonance for consistent joy, so that we can keep moving forward and expanding in that way? And so I was like, I'm going to start something. So I was like, is there somebody already doing Black Queer Joy? I was like, no, they're not. So I just started posting pictures. It was so strange because when I first started, it was really actually hard to find photos and images on people's sites, because what most people posted was things of them being like hard or whatever. Like it's like the defense mechanism around, we're strong enough, we're resilient, we can fight you, we can, versus seeing the revolutionary act it is to be joyful when we're at the margins. Like that's a revolution. When we've been as oppressed and as traumatized as we are, living in our joy it's a protest. It's a revolution in and of itself. But then as I started doing it, I found more and more people have found the page, and more people start sending me stuff or like tagging themselves and stuff so that I can amplify these other images of Black joy and Black queer joy so that people see themselves in a different light. And especially during this last year with COVID and all that, I found a lot of people coming and saying it really has helped them. It's helped them to get through the times and the years, and to see that, you know, these moments will pass, or if they just needed a little uplift, just going through the photos where they're being affirmed is something that's really big deal for them. It's something that I eventually want to expand even, you know, bigger. And it's something that's a through line that runs through stories I like to tell too, like this kind of affirming thing of expanding joy, and like not always being about like what horrible thing is going to happen next. When we can finally be in public together, hopefully we can start doing like events or things like that, or doing focuses on other things that amplify joy.
That's awesome. I just love your spirit and your energy, Dalila. Your wife, Connie, she is a photographer, and so I know you guys have done a lot of other projects together, and you're doing a lot of writing right now, and you're doing a secret project that you can't tell us about with David O. Russell. How much can you tell us, or is that it?
I literally can't say anything. Like everything is, literally everything is secret. Like, and it's just all, it's secret. All of it's really secret. Like it's in the trade, like a little bit's in the trade, so you can, like, if you went to like Deadline, you can see the little bit that's allowed to be public, which is basically that there is one. There is one. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about Phoenix too. Did Phoenix go to college? Do you have empty nest, or do you?
No, he's online in college because of COVID.
Okay.
He was thinking about moving to DC this semester, but then decided to wait until he can actually move on campus. So, but he's getting at least somewhat of a college experience. They still got classes. They've got online class like everybody else does. He's still plugging away at his animation degree and doing really well. Did really well last semester. He's doing well now. He's, continuing on his journey. He's an ambassador for the freshman class to their basically their equivalent of a GSA, which is called Cascade. And they're one of the oldest HBCUs to have, like, they're one of the oldest GSAs on an HBCU campus. They were Howard's one of the first campuses to have affirming and supporting things for LGBTQIA plus folks. And so they do a lot of activism in helping move the needle forward in the Black community around queer issues, which I think is fantastic that he immediately got involved and interviewed, and now he's on the board. I was like, okay, kid, keep it going, keep it going. Our whole family is activists, though, so it's not like it's like my dad was an activist. I'm like my aunt, my mom, like everybody's been kind of that type of people. It's kind of bred into us.
Well, thank you for it. Thank you for it, and if I can ever help in any way, just please let me know. I always ask my guests before I let them go, because we're about to go take a walk on the beach, and nice. I use exercise for me to kind of get my mind a little bit lifted. So when you're feeling down in the dumps, what do you do to lift your spirits?
Champagne. No, I'm just kidding. I sometimes.
That's a good answer.
Sometimes dancing, but if you're talking just body movement things, sometimes dancing. I'm not really.
Whatever you do, whether it's champagne or whatever, what do you do to get?
Yeah,
some people it's meditate.
Sometimes it is champagne or tequila. Sometimes it's meditating. Sometimes it's finding something that is magical to watch on television that like delights me. Like I love witchy, fairy, magic-y type of stories. So like right now, Discovery Witches is giving me my life. It's back on again. It makes me very happy. Fate, the Winx tales about the fairies, which I'm mad that they whitewashed some of the characters, but I am enjoying the story and I love that they're fairies. Like I like stuff like that, so it kind of really delights me to do that. Sometimes me and Phoenix will pick a show and then we'll start binging it together, which I also adore. fire makes me very happy. So sometimes me and Connie will sit in front of the fireplace and just like either chill and talk or pick something to watch. And again, we'll binge something that like makes us happy. Watching things because we can't travel right now, where I can see Europe because usually we go every year to see Connie's family, and this year we can't. Watching like Riviera on Sundance, where I can see like the south of France and the beaches, makes me very happy. Sitting in my garden too. You know, I have a garden that we, as COVID's gone, we've really done stuff to kind of bolster our garden outside area so that we had some place where we could breathe fresh air. So like looking out for hummingbirds and listening. We have a Buddha fountain out there, a pretty big one that I'll sit next to. In the evenings, we have like strung up lights all out there and like little flameless candles that come on at a certain time. So it looks like kind of like a little fairy wonderland under our tree.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about watching that show, the Netflix one you're talking about, Fate, right? Yeah, I was thinking about watching that, so I'll give it a whirl.
Actually, it's actually, they did a decent job. It's a much darker, like the original Winx was very light and girly and playful. They took it very dark and much more kind of like college-y type of feel, boarding school type of feel, but the storytelling so far is good and interesting.
All right, well, we'll check it out. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. Best of luck to you in your secret project.
Thank you.
And we will check out Black Queer Joy on Instagram. That's a really wonderful thought. I just love your spirit and your creativity. Keep it up, keep it going, and we'll stay tuned or stay in touch and be well, my friend.
All right, love you guys.
Bye. And we are about to go take a walk on the beach. So are you guys ready? Go put your shoes on. I'm going to give you exciting Super Bowl non-predictions, a couple more facts about Cecily, and we're going to get you moving, all right? So go get your shoes on. And while you're doing that, here is one last video when Ms. Tyson was honored by the Kennedy Center Honors. CeCe Winans sang with her, or sang for her, and here's a little clip of that. Are you ready to take a walk on the beach? Don't you feel just happy and inspired by that? What a lovely person. Well, they both are. I love my friend Dalila and Cecily. So let's go. Let's get up. Come on, everybody. Get off your chair. Get off the couch. Get out of bed. Let's go. Let's get some movement in, shall we? Let's do our walk. And, you know, Dalila mentioned that she was very, kind to her son and was interested in his education. She actually started a school for elementary and middle-aged students, and a school for the arts in New Jersey. She was the first African-American woman to win an Emmy for Best Actress. And like I said, we all know and love her. So I have put on the group page, it's an interview with Gayle King, one of the last interviews that she did, and it's pretty interesting. So when we're done with our walk here, you can zip on over to the group page and it will be there for you where you can take a look. I will also have a recipe on there for some vegan chili, right? You heard it. How does a woman get to be 96 years old? You heard her say it. She's vegan, right? Okay, once as an actress, she's eating chicken, but for the most part, she's vegan. It's a good, healthy thing. So when you're making chili this weekend for the big lesbian high holy day that Super Bowl is, you can have some vegetarian chili. Alrighty then. So also, I've got another little clip here for you. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of a commercial with Jill Biden is doing a commercial during the Puppy Bowl, because I know not all of you like football, not all of you are going to watch the Super Bowl, and some of you might be watching the Puppy Bowl. So here's a sneak peek at one of those commercials.
I'm Jill Biden here at the White House with our two dogs, Champ and Major. For a lot of us during this pandemic, our pets have been such a source of joy and comfort. and maybe a bark or two on a video conference. The unconditional love from a dog is one of the most beautiful things on earth, and we owe it to them to keep ourselves healthy. So please keep wearing your masks, even when you're out walking your dog. Right, guys?
Hey, cute, wasn't it? Doesn't it just make you feel happy there's dogs in the White House again? And it gave me an idea. You know, you heard Jill Biden say to wear a mask, if not for yourself, do it for your dogs. I think that's a new tactic I'm going to take with you guys. I'm going to get you up and walking and moving. Not for me. Don't walk for you. Walk for your dogs and your cats. You wouldn't want to die, and then your poor dog would be there in the house and you'd be dead. He'd starve to death. Get up and walk and get healthy. So you do it for your animals. And did you know, if you were to die in your house, I don't know how they figured this out, but apparently your cats would eat you before your dogs would. Don't know about that, but that's what they say. And it's probably true. So here you go. Here's my Super Bowl prediction. The winner will be either the Chiefs or the Bucks. I don't know. To be honest, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm pulling for the old guy, pulling for Mr. Brady, but I'm happy either way because I think the Chiefs are an awesome team. So I really kind of don't have a prediction. Here's the deal. I'm leaning toward Tampa Bay because the offensive line has got 2 injuries right on the end. So both of their starting offensive guards, or their tackles rather, are out, which means Tampa Bay's defense is going to come in on Patrick Mahomes. Except that's when he's really good, when he gets outside. I don't know. Just have fun. Just watch it and keep walking. Now zip on over. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. Zip on over to the group page as soon as we're done here. And you got a nice interview, more about Cecily Tyson, and you'll get your 15 minutes in. Good for the head, good for the heart. I want to thank my fantastic, wonderful guest, Dalila Ali Rajah. Please do check her out. Check out Queer Black Joy on her Instagram page and check out all of her work. She's such a talented actor. I want to thank, of course, Sheila for the bells and the whistles and all the craziness we had here. We'll try to figure that out for next week. And next week, speaking of, we've got Password on Monday. In fact, Password on Monday is going to be the rematch of the very first week with Roxana Ward, Vicky Shaw, Dana Goldberg, and Karen Williams. So that's going to be a fun Password. And thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for walking. Have a wonderful, safe, happy Super Bowl weekend. Think about vegetarian chili, maybe. Okay? All right. Cyber, see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.